So make no mistake, the choice in this election is not between regions or religions or genders. It is not about rich versus poor, young versus old, and it is certainly not about black versus white. It is about the past versus the future. It is about looking backwards or marching forwards. It's about whether we are going to seize this moment to write the next great American story. So someday we can tell our children that this was the time when we healed our nation. This was the time when we repaired our world. And this was the time when we renewed the America. That this was the time when we renewed the America that has led generations of weary travelers from all over the world to find opportunity and liberty and hope on our doorstep. One of these travelers was my father. I barely knew him. But when, after his death, I finally took my first trip to his tiny village in Kenya and asked my grandmother, who lives there in a small shack without running water, electricity, I asked her if there was anything left from him. And she opened a trunk and took out a stack of letters, which she handed to me. There were many more than 30 of them, all handwritten by my father, all addressed to colleges and universities across America, all filled with the hope of a young man who had been born into poverty, but who dreamed of more for his life. And his prayer was answered when he was brought over to study in this country. That's how he ended up meeting my mother. What I learned much later is that part of what made it possible for him to come here was an effort by the young senator from Massachusetts at the time, John F. Kennedy, and by a grant from the Kennedy Foundation to help Kenyan students pay for travel. So it is partly because of their generosity that my father came to this country. And because he did, I stand before you today, inspired by America's past, filled with hope for America's future, and determined to do my part in writing our next great chapter. So, that is the essence of America. Each generation reaching back and bringing along those who might have otherwise been left behind. So I'm asking for your hands, I'm asking for your help, and I'm asking for your hearts. And if you will stand with me in the days to come, if you will stand for change so that our children have the same chance that somebody gave us, if you'll stand to keep the American dream alive for those who still hunger for opportunity and still thirst for justice, if you are ready to stop settling for what the cynics tell you you must accept, and finally reach for what you know is possible, then we will not just win these primaries, we will not just win this general election, we will change the course of history and light a new torch for change in this country. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. Thank you, everybody. God bless you.
Barack Obama embracing Ted Kennedy, and there with Carolyn.